Merhaba, Mackolik'e YouTube ekranına hoş geldiniz değerli izleyiciler. Kurşun Pas'la karşınızdayız. Bugün stüdyoda ben Nihan Cabbaroğlu, konuğumuz Fenerbahçe Opet baş antrenörü Stefano Lavarini ile birlikteyiz. Coach, hello, welcome. It's really nice to see you here. It's great to host you here. How are you?
It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm good, really good.
You're good. I mean, the team is doing great, so it's not a surprise. You're feeling good. So it's their first season in Fenerbahçe, but your team is already doing really well, and the team seems really mature and playing really good and have the confidence. How do you feel about where you are as a team right now?
But yes, I have good feelings since the beginning, honestly. But let's say, as to be said that many players were already part of the team from the years before, so probably there have been some advantages in starting with many players that they were knowing each other, even if probably also coming with a different style, with a different coaching style or a different person. We had to adapt some situations, we had to start to know each other and to start to cooperate in the best way possible. I think that until now we grew a lot, we did a very good path, a very good job. And but also has to be said that Fenerbahçe is one of the most important teams in the European volleyball, in the world volleyball, and so could be expected to do a good job until now. I think that what will make the difference is in front of us and is yet to come.
Yeah, we'll go into details about Fenerbahçe, but I want to ask some couple questions about yourself firstly. Mm-hmm. So one of it is, so you're living in Istanbul for a couple of months right now. What did you surprised about most since you started living in Istanbul?
But I'm sad from one side because since we came right after the national team seasons, we just had to play a few days after, and playing didn't give me so many possibilities to visit, to experience. People from Italy is asking me, how is that? Well, I don't know, I've never been, I never watched. But other than this in the normal life, I'm not surprised, but I can say that I had a comfortable feeling about, for example, having a pleasure to try and to the Turkish food.
Oh.
Because yes, it's kind of something that even if it's different, there is a little pork missing from our diet, but other than this there are many, so I like meat very much. Mm-hmm. And you have so many different kind of ways of cooking meat. In particular, I think that Turkish cooks are best cooks in the world in cooking chicken. I don't know why, but even if it's not my favorite meat. Other than this, let's say, I think that some particular things are connected to the big city life, and so everywhere, probably in the metropolis, you can find some traffic or some big spaces, and you should learn how to manage. But let's say I don't feel lost. I feel that I can live comfortable. I can find my orienteering, even if I said already that orienteering is not my best quality. And so people doesn't look so far from Italians. If I have to choose one side of Italy, probably the southern part of Italy, where people are more emotional, let's say, and more loud. I'm from the northern part of Italy. We are much similar to Switzerland, Germany, and this kind of mentality, let's say. But I feel pretty comfortable until now.
What about coffee? I mean, Italians are fond of coffee. And do you like coffee, or do you like Turkish coffee especially?
Okay. I mean, I like everything. Honestly, I picked already for the first question already food, because food, yeah. Beverage, and also traveling the world a lot. I can say that I like to experience everything. But at the end, Italian coffee for me is still the best, and I'm addicted to espresso coffee. But when I tried Turkish coffee, I think it's a really good taste. I prefer Turkish coffee than tea in general, but I've never been that addicted to tea. And let's say just at the beginning was little particular because I had the feeling that I was not drinking coffee, I was eating coffee because there is always something. I mean, it's a little different, but taste is really good.
Did you get your fortune read from the coffee beans?
Again, sorry?
Did you like have your fortune read? There's a fortune-telling tradition in Turkey from the coffee grounds.
No. I heard about that, but I
okay, I'll do that after the show.
Okay, nice, very nice. Anyway, then I noticed that you have also many different qualities, and so there is a great business around coffee, and something that is interesting.
Yeah, we love our coffee too, like alongside the tea, of course.
Yeah.
So let's go on with your professional career. So one thing that stands out when we look at your past is that you don't have a professional playing career. Like most of the coaches start by playing and then they move on to coaching. So how did you get into coaching?
Sometimes I joke on this, but honestly it's quite true that I was just very bad in playing every sport. And as athlete, I was very bad in everything. In Italy, if you are bad in football, you start already like, okay, in a very low consideration from your same age guys and so on. And but I liked sport a lot, and I was following with a great attention who has success in sport, and was something that made me feel like willing to be successful in some sports, but I couldn't find any that could fit with me. Then on the other side, I started to follow my my schoolmates that in that ages in my city, in my town, it started to rise an interesting women's volleyball club, starting working from young players and something like this, with a coach that was that had been before a great athlete in kayaking, and he had this kind of mindset about working super seriously in a, let's say, professional way since the young ages. And it started to join this mentality with this volleyball club that it has been his second passion, let's say. And this big group of players, of people, let's say, started to do something very important in our volleyball in that period, in that era. And so I was just following them one day, practices, going there, watching my friends and so on. And then the coach said, okay, you are here every day, why don't you help me? And I said, okay, but I never played, I don't know how to do it. Okay, but you are quite young. I was like not even 16, I think. Yeah. And he said, since I'm starting with a new group, you can learn together with them while you give me an help. You learn with them. And that's how it started. And then from that day, let's say, and I've been in the gym at the beginning only 6 days a week, until now that is morning and afternoon, evening, night, every day. So I think that I had the possibility to recover what I was missing by starting very young to learn from a different point of view. That was the coaching point of view, and probably this is what helped me.
Yeah. When you look to that point when you started, what advice would you give to yourself, looking from now and with your experience right now? If you were to say something to your younger self, what would it be?
But at the end, I'm satisfied because I found a way to follow some dreams and something that I liked. Because, for example, I was really interested in new experiences, different places, different country, but not like visiting like tourists, but leaving the people, leaving the places. about languages, even if, you know, my English is not great, I can speak Portuguese, I've lived other experiences in some other places, and it was really difficult to learn different languages. In Turkish, at the moment, I'm really like greetings and not more than this. But also languages was something that interested me a lot. And then trying to have the possibility of living that experiences of success in sport, participating to big competitions, Olympics, for example. I was watching Olympics since I was really, really young, like with the dreaming of it and understanding pretty easily that I couldn't have any other possibility than like coach, like staff member, like, and so at the end all these pieces of the puzzles, they matched in a good way, probably. Of course, this is a price, because many times, in particular in these last 10 years, let's say, I'm feeling that something is missing, or I'm let's say, losing many possibilities of staying, just picking one, much closer to my family or something like this, and probably, so, and I hope I will never regret too much, let's say, what I'm missing. But on the other hand, I had, I mean, that guy, let's say, if I have to say something to him, I would say, okay, good job. You had some dreams, you bet on yourself, you try to create your future in some way. And as I said, following these dreams, and you are at a good point, then honestly, I can do only this right now, and there's no, I mean
it's a pretty big thing, you know. You're coaching like one of the greatest teams in
but
Europe.
I bet everything. I put everything on that. It was all in from the very beginning. You know, in that era, let's say in that period, more than 20, around. It's more than 20. It's more than 25 years ago. It was not so. Let's say you had zero guarantees, and probably, you know, betting on this kind of career have been not so wise at the beginning. Luckily, until now, it paid out.
That's amazing. Let's start talking about Fenerbahçe a little bit. Now, the team is like doing fantastic right now. Like when we look from outside, like everyone seems very happy. I mean, every game is like you are on a streak right now. Like I don't know how many games it has been. I guess like 20 around. It must have been 20, right? Like you're not losing for a couple of months, let's say. And how would you describe the atmosphere in the team right now?
Well, I think that atmosphere is great. The girls, in particular, they look loving to work together, to spend time together, and that makes working much easier. And I think that on the base of results, there can be a lot from this connection. And I'm not that into statistics, and let's say I'm always focused on what's the next match and something like this. But I think that there are, from this point of view, their connection is the best base to think about trying to do something important.
There is an addition to the team lately, which is Melissa Vargas. I mean, she's one of the greatest volleyballers in our time. And she is having an injury, but like she joined the team. We saw the pictures and videos. They're like all teams greeting and hugging, and they missed her, I guess. How was the team's reaction when she came?
Well, as you could see, I think that the images that you could see, they represented honestly the kind of feeling of the girls. Probably. This is because of the importance of Melissa like a player, but also for something that comes from the past. They build among themselves. In the past, they lived many good feelings, and also not only in the club, probably something that comes also from the national team seasons just past. And so, what to say? It was a very good and a very big welcome, and I think that this is another good point for us.
Yeah. So as a coach, so there are some already great players in your team, and Vargas is now, in addition to the team, of course, she's like very big value. However, maybe sometimes you need to change the positions a little bit so that to give playing time for everyone. So in terms of like positions, how will you arrange the positions between like Stysiak, Vargas? Do you think some will move to spiker position?
At the moment, I don't really think about this possibility. I think that in particular for playing position 4, like outside, let's say, is not that easy. It's not something that you can invent in a while. And for sure, we have many matches. We will have the possibility of giving the space to Melissa to get her condition back, and at the same time to keep Magda's condition. And at the end, like I think that all the girls of the roster, let's say, they are used to work at this level, and they know that at the end is the court that leads the choices and who will play more, who will play less. For sure, now it's a period that will be important to prepare all our weapons, let's say, and to have everybody available and in the best condition possible. And at the end, we will see what will give us the best potential, but also the best balance. Because sometimes I fight a little bit with people that thinks that it's just something about one player, one name, somebody that can lead you to the success. But in this game and in all the team sports, let's say, but is how you connect with all the players, the team works as a team that makes the difference, and so there must be kind of matching, kind of balance, and this you will only discover working and experiencing matches. And so, of course, we will try to have all our weapons in the best condition possible. I said to speak about weapons, sorry, but I don't have any other word to describe this.
Okay. So, like, coming to team dynamics, you have a very strong leadership with Eda Erdem'i. Like, she's one of the sports icons in the country, maybe in the world. How would you describe her leadership style?
But first of all, Eda is like the face of the club, the flag of Fenerbahçe. I think that is representative of all the values and principles of this club, and this is pretty easy to understand since you just join, and since I just joined the club. And other than this, the particularity, let's say, that I like the most about Eda as a captain, as a reference for the team is, so I generally like people that lead or show something by the example, and kind of professionalism, and even if she is experienced, always like picky in the trying to get her condition or quality, never satisfied about how she's doing, always needing to do little more to find that feeling that makes her feeling at her best every time. And now I'm speaking in particular about the daily work. That is something that I really care. I really care about what happens in practices. I really care about what happens daily. I'm not that into people that thinks that you arrive at the game and you just fix because you are a super talented player. I like people that used to build day by day their standards. I believe in standards more than in one day great fire, day after we don't know how to play volleyball. And so for many of these characteristics, she is a great example of professionalism, and I think that this is in general being an example the best way to lead.
That's amazing. So one of the fans of Eda is Magda Stysiak. She already declared like she was a fan of Eda and now she's playing with her. And how would you describe their relationship? Because Magda is she's very big in attacking position and Eda is the one that like leads the team in a way. We can see that they're like very fond of each other.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't know this before, and honestly, I never spoke with Magda, and I don't know where it come from. But for sure, I realized this in last summer national team because I saw that once we were meeting with Turkey, Magda was looking for Eda, and it looks that they were starting this great relationship. I don't know how they are living this. It's something probably that they can express better, but it's pretty sure that Magda has this kind of, let's say, attraction for Eda, and I noticed that they are many times they are speaking, they are really well connected, and so I think that this is nice that a young player has this kind of view of one of the icons, let's say, of this sport, and it means, like I said, also probably that this example, these figures, let's say, big figures on our sports, they are not only taking from the sport, they are giving, and they are giving to the new generations as well. And other than this, how they live their relationship, or if they are friends, other than what we live in the court, I don't know how it's going, but it looks that is a really nice connection.
Yeah, so one of the interviews of Magda, she shared a recent conversation you two had, and I will quote her now. She said, the training is over and Stefano calls me and says, Magda, if you want, I will talk to the club. I don't know what kind of relationship we had with your grandfather, but family is the most important thing. This is when she lost her grandfather, I believe. And you'll try to play this match without you. If you need anything, you call me. So she says, like, you are a good emotional person and I can treat my coach as a friend. So is it, like, how important for you to make players feel that way, that close to you, that they can share their emotions and their, like, private matters time to time?
But I don't know, because I just try to be myself, and the person that I am outside from the court is the same person that I am inside, just I'm doing my job and I try to do it at my best, but there's no, I mean, I'm not able to change my way of being, because it's based on my values, on my principles, and so it doesn't change so much for me inside or outside from the court. Honestly, other than this consideration, most of the players, of the people that surrounds the team, they can say that I am more like a bear than, and so not that friendly, let's say, but probably is because of the seriousness that I put in doing my job. Because on the other hand, I used to have a, yes, kind of connection with players, with people that I work with, that it's other than work, also because I am into this 24 hours. And so other than my family, as I said, they become my second family. They become the most important part of my daily life, let's say. And so this connection, so in my opinion, is impossible not to have some connection, not to feel something for the players that is aside from the work, let's say. And about the specific situation, I mean, I think it would be strange if somebody would not think a little more to the person that in a situation like this is losing grandfather. And it could be strange, in my opinion, the opposite, not having a little care, little consideration about what a player can live in that moment. We are human beings. We are something that comes first, then athlete and professionals. We are people, and I think that volleyball, like a friend, coach, was used to say many years ago to me, volleyball is the most important thing of our life among the less important things, you know. So I think that in that moment was absolutely normal to take care about her feelings.
So also, like when players are interviewed and they asked about you, they say that one thing stands out for you. It's your analysis and tactical preparation for the games. Is that something you care really much about?
I care a lot. It's something that keep my attention a lot, and probably there are some reasons about that. One reason is maybe connected also to this kind of experience, like coach that started watching volleyball as a coach and not as a player, so gave me this kind of point of view to take under consideration what happens in the court much more on the wall way, and not only like from the feelings of the emotions or of the single. And so taking care about the whole system, the whole team. And on the other hand, you know, in particular in the top level, details makes the difference many times. And so I think that being able to know what could happen, what you are facing, and to have the possibility of predicting something about the opponent way to play, and choosing the right strategies, the right tactics makes the difference. And also because we are playing a lot without so many possibilities to practice. So honestly, I started with youth team, with young team, and my beginning was more on a technical side, but let's say now to express something particular in teaching volleyball when you play every 3 days, it's quite impossible. There are not so many possibilities. And on the other side, you know, many of these players are really, really experienced. There's not so much that they have to learn, but they have to be able to perform. So what is more important is that you give them the best feelings, the best condition, and the best preparation for using what they know to be successful. And so this is why the tactical part took my attention that much, in particular in these last 10 years, let's say, since I'm working with top level teams.
So like volleyball is a strange sport in terms of like there is not like it's a team sport, but there is not one-to-one touch. You don't touch your opponents, so it can be a little bit tricky to watch and tricky to play actually, because I mean you only have your own space to work with. You don't have the opponent's space. You only can just do well and hope for the best for the next for your opponent. So you said that tactical preparation is really important. What is the 3 most important aspects in volleyball, tactic-wise?
I mean, I can tell you what we just in a simple way, in which aspects, in which element we point our attention, our focus during the preparation. That one is how to defend by the attack that is run by the opponent, and so which system in blocking and defense adopting to face the opponent attack, and you know which solutions can fit the most to be offensive. Many times this second part is mainly connected to the characteristic of your team than on the opponent team, because you have some qualities and it's much important to emphasize your qualities than to try to fit as much to the opponent's style, let's say. But you know, we try to work on the 2 aspects, trying to understand. And I can say, in the past, we were considering a lot how to defend ourselves from the opponent. But in these last years, my challenge with my staff has always been, year by year, to try to become more focused in how to offend, how to find the right solution in attack, considering that what makes more the difference is if we attack. This is I mean, it's not invented by me, but it's the game rules that made you make point when you score in attack, not when you dig. You know, when you dig is nice and super important, but it's super important if you give an interpretation on the defense like a new possibility to attack and to make the point, because only defense doesn't make any point for you. And so for sure the balance is on the attack, and so this is why, in my opinion, is important to have a good balance and a good preparation about also how to be more efficient in attacking. And as I said, one big part is connected with the characteristic of our team or your team, and so you have to emphasize the characteristic of your team, and one is taking care about how they can match with the style of the opponent.
Yeah. Now we passed the middle of the season. Right now we're in the second half, and Champions League quarterfinals are on the corner. And although Fenerbahçe is one of the favorites, how close do you think you are to winning that cup?
As like all the other teams that are participating to the quarterfinals. And this is kind of answer that I will give on many of these kind of questions. I am really, I mean, my mindset is focusing on each match at a time, each opponent at a time. So now our distance from the, of course, the only thing that count is who win at the end. And so, you know, sometimes people is making 1,000 of predictions of, you know, trying to predict according on the opponents or on the next opponent or something like this. For me, it's super stupid to consider, to make this kind of consideration. The only consideration that is worth, in my opinion, is how to be stronger than Stuttgart in the next match, and this is the only thing that I care.
I guess in Stuttgart, fans will help you a lot, because in Stuttgart, I mean, Germany is not that a great volleyball country, let's say, but for Stuttgart game, the tickets are sold out when they were like open to everyone, which is there will be a lot of Turkish people, a lot of Fenerbahçe fans in that arena. So, like, have you experienced this before, or is it your first time?
Absolutely, yes. No, I have already experienced this before. I can tell you one thing. My knowledge about Turkey before coming here was, I mean, not that big, but I can say this for many other countries, you know, because until you don't leave one specific country, it's not easy to have a great, let's say, image of that country. Maybe in Italy we can have a little, I mean, bigger idea of France, of Spain, I mean, the countries that are much close to you. And so I knew that Turkey was a big country with, I mean, so many people living there, of course, a great history. But what I didn't know before is that it looks to be in Turkey almost everywhere. Because when we played in Belgium, Netherlands with the national team, was incredible. It was like we were, I can say more or less also like Poland. Then in Poland, Polish fans, Polish people is that addicted to volleyball that we were, I mean, always full of Polish fans, and you were not even realizing how many Turkish there were, also because it's white and red, red and white, and so you don't understand very well. But when we have been in the European Championship in particular, it was incredible. It was really, really incredible. And I mean, keeping like last Germany, because then I started to realize that there are many immigrants in Germany in particular. I mean, the second country within Germany is Turkey for number of people. And I don't want to say number, but I was.
I think that's right. Yeah, I mean, you can.
There is like a 3 in the like first number, and so many Turkish people living there. A big part, at the moment, actually, a big part of the tissue of the society of the country in Germany. And so, in particular, knowing that we are going one more time there, after being in Potsdam before, going to Stuttgart, I know what to expect. It will not be a surprise, and so maybe there is not the surprise effect, but there is only the very good effect of feeling home also away.
Yeah, that's amazing. Really, there are 3 million Turkish people living in Germany.
I think yes, this 3 is a number that I remember.
Yeah, and So, talking about fans, one game I remember, I think it was the last game you played in the group stage in Champions League this year. It was a Polish team. I think it was Lodz.
Mm-hmm.
Lodz game. Yeah. And after you won that game, there were like fans cheering to the players, of course, and they were singing and like calling the captain to near them, and then they chanted some songs for the players, and players were just like standing there and listening and like getting the compliments. That day, I saw the Polish players. They were doing the cool down on the court, and they were watching like the fans, and of course they were really upset because they lost the game. But at the same time, you could tell that they wanted to like see what was going on and how the fans can be in some places.
Loud.
I guess. Yeah, they're loud, and it's really really flattering for a player. Like I'm sure that many players would dream about being in that position. Like you're really successful, and the fans are like singing for you all the time, like after the game is finished.
Yes, of course.
And that was amazing, I guess.
It is. Hopefully, I think that this is great, for sure, and it's even much greater if you have this kind of support all the time, not only in victory. Because this is what makes the difference for me, is if we have this connection that we are that together and absolutely sure that everybody is trying to do his best all the time for the same jersey, for the same uniform, and to feel this kind of support in good and bad moments, this is what, in my opinion, makes the big difference.
Yeah, you're also familiar with many different like volleyball cultures and countries, and let's say continents. You worked in Brazil, you worked in South Korea, and you're coaching the national team of Poland. If you were to name one thing that you learned from each country that you worked in, what would that be?
This is a tough question. I mean, also because, there are many areas, many aspects that we can consider, but let's say staying a little more connected to the work, I can say that in Brazil, the main characteristic that I was like, was like individual tactical skill of the players. So how, without so many informations, without this big tactical preparation that we are more used to in Italy, for example, they were able to easily see what was happening in the court and finding solutions, because our game is a game of situations. So you don't have to repeat only. It looks that, sometimes it looks that there are gestures that we have to repeat always in the same way, but the kind of situations that are always different in each rally makes everything needed to be adapted. And the way that they find solution was something that took my attention a lot. And from Korea, discipline, for sure. That was in some moments amazing to see kind of discipline that they have in whatever they do. And about Poland, let's say, what I noticed the most is the kind of passion for volleyball that I've never experienced in particular in that way, okay? Because volleyball is a big sport, an important sport worldwide, but it's not football, it's not soccer, it's not considered as well, as much, let's say. But in Poland, you have the feeling that it's pretty much the same. And let's say, it's something that I'm starting to experience also here in Turkey. And I think in particular after this last year's results of the national team, when I was coming to Turkey before, the few times that I came before in playing with the clubs or with the national teams, also because of some competition hosted by Turkey or so on, I've never had this kind of feeling that players are becoming quite like stars, and that volleyball is that followed, important, and under the spotlight right now. And so I think it's growing something in the country really similar to what I felt in Poland.
Yeah, how does it make you feel as a coach to see your players are like superstars right now? Because, you know, we're used to that from football, but actually, you're right, it's the first time that volleyball is this much popular in Turkey, and like really the players are treated as like superstars wherever they go right now. So how does it make you feel as a coach to experience this?
Sorry, I have to say that I don't care too much. Because in my opinion, what makes the difference is still like when they were 12, 14, how we perform in the court, how we match one with the other, how we create our balance. So I'm that focused on the game and how they play the game and how we play as a team, that this kind of attention specific for persons, individuals, is something that, okay, make me feel good. I'm really happy for them, and in particular because I know how much they invested, as many other sportsmen, but how much they invested in their career, in their life. I know what they are missing, like I'm missing. As professionals, there are a lot of things that we are missing to do this job, and so that they have a reward for this, for me, is great. But in general, in my approach with them, is really zero important, because also to keep this star position, let's say, we need to perform. And so I just care about trying to help them, let's say, to be the best performer as possible. And since I have this kind of consideration for the persons, for the values that they have, for the principles that they have, to be honest, I enjoy when I understand that behind that cover that is given by outside to them, there are still these humble persons, easygoing persons, valuable persons, and this is what I'm looking for. I don't care too much about the stars. I care about what's inside, really, you know.
Great. So let's go back. If you go back to a couple years to 2020 Tokyo Olympics. So you know, the Turkish national team, I guess, experienced one of the most traumatic losses to South Korea. Yeah, you were there. I mean, you were one of the actors that made this possible, actually. Like, I mean, it has been quite a while then. Now we have another Olympics like in the future of us, and then like we had a great summer as Turkish national team. So maybe we can talk about this a little bit in like mature way, like keeping the heart broken sides apart. So yeah, I will quote Eda right now. She said she shared a photo after that loss, the crying on the court, and she said, "I want this photo to stay on my profile to remind me the Olympics, what it made me feel and thought." So, like, have you ever talked about that game with Eda in particular?
Never, but first, what you are just saying, it's something that, for example, I say I can share this kind of feeling, because, for example, in the time that I lost some final or some particular competition, I was, for example, used to stay there to watch the opponent celebrating. I mean, I like the same, to pass through this, to keep this, because I want next time to be better, next time to be successful. And so I really like what you just said about this previous behavior by the captain. But other than this, no, we never spoke about this. And I realized that it was a really tough moment. Probably was exactly the same as for Korea was a great moment.
Yeah. And
unexpected. That is really meaningful for many reasons about how particular is Olympics, because that moment, quarterfinals, is always representing a very, very tough moment for everybody. And in many situations, the value of the team is not making always the difference, but there are It's a step that it's really hard for everybody if you are favorite or not. And on the other hand, I have to say that it's also, when Turkey probably picked Korea among the opponents, was expecting something different. Honestly, when we also picked Turkey, we were expecting something different, but probably that gave also us the possibility to have a different freedom, mindset, and we had the possibility of doing an incredible result, because my main memory is really when I shake the hands with Giovanni and I say, it's impossible. What just happened? It is impossible. And so, that is the memory. And but like I say, it's really meaningful of the toughness of that particular phase of the Olympic, of a competition like the Olympics.
What do you think made the difference that day? Do you recall anything in particular?
But for Korea, what made the difference that day is what made the difference along all the tournament, because we passed the pool with crucial tie-breaks victories. We played all the matches that were crucial for us to go to the next step, really being very good in the most important moments of each of these matches. 3-2 with Japan, 3-2 before with Dominican, 3-2 with Turkey. For us, details, being perfect or being brave exactly in the moment that they could close the sets that you need to reach the goal, and leaded by a fantastic player like Kim Yong-yeon that one more time showed to be still one of the top players of the history of these games, that one more time leaded her teammates to something incredible. And these have been for me also another great example about leadership, because the way that she affected everybody in the team, and the kind of confidence that everybody had in the possibility of reaching such a result was amazing. Turning also normal players, let's say, into top players in the moments that were needed to be top players for being able to beat, for example, Turkey.
Yeah, such a great character, Kim, right? And so after that game, I talked to my South Korean friend about you, and she's also a sports professional now working in Germany right now. And she said, we're really fond of him actually, because he left a good volleyball legacy. Volleyball became popular, more popular after the Olympic Games. About you, of course, she's talking about you. I asked her about you. She said, yes, I think he left a very good volleyball legacy. So how did you manage to do that in a culture that is so different?
But honestly, I can mention a couple of different situations. First of all, a feeling that was really, really different from the day after we won with Turkey and all the days before of the years before. Because I think that what it changed the most was in particular that results, also because we were coming from VNL's experiences, losing almost all the matches every time. We didn't do a great Asian, continental competition. We did bronze medal, but for Koreans was not that great, also because Japan and China, they were participate with a younger team. So, that was the moment that probably all of us, we realized that the journey that we did together have given us, that great results, feelings, and even if, let's say, before I always had experienced great respect and great, for them also was particular, because it was the first time that they were hiring somebody from far away, from outside their borders, I think. to be coach of their national team. So culturally was a big thing to change that much, okay? And so it was a really nice feeling, and for sure we, as every time when you mix, when you are open to any exchange, when you are open-minded, in my opinion, you always have something to gain. And also from this, I mean, connection between our style, our European style, let's say, I'm speaking for me, for my staff. I had the pleasure of having my staff together with me, and meeting with that different culture, but as I said, different, but with a great discipline, so it came out a very good product.
Now this year is the Olympic year, you know, this summer there will be Paris 2024, and you will lead the Polish team this time in the Olympics. So it is also very important for Poland because they have like a great volleyball legacy, but they have also missed a couple of years. They couldn't really match that top level stage. But right now, you're going to Olympics. Likewise, Turkey, you'll be leading the different team. So how did that experience in Olympics help you prepare for this one?
I think that but one of the aspects I already told you is that the consciousness that certain moments during a competition like this are crucial, like quarterfinals, and so trying to figure out how to prepare the team, how to consider the opponents in the best way possible. And I mean, at the moment, because you know, some of these considerations are submitted to how the pools will be, and it's something that we don't already know. And so at the moment, what I notice the most is some considerations that can help me to organize better for that competition, knowing how it works within the village, for example. That is an amazing experience, but also can be full of distractions, like kind of experience if you have never lived something like this. And so trying to imagine how to keep the focus of the team and how to organize things to be, as I said, really focused on our goal, because it's not easy leaving the village, even if, as I said, it's fantastic. And on the other hand, honestly, my experience, that is a single experience, is not, for many ways, probably could help. For many other, it was, you know, the only Olympic in the COVID era. Yeah. And so many things were different than all the other editions, and probably for sure also different from the next. And that specific moment of our history, let's say, made also the Olympics being a very particular situation, edition. Probably connecting to the previous question, also something that gave, about this legacy with Korea, that gave some great feelings also, because it was a success for their country in a sport that they have anyway big tradition, in a moment that, like every one of us, every country, every people was needing good feelings in that specific moment. And so we have been able to create something, some warm feeling, some big feeling in a moment that was super difficult. And so coming back to the question, let's say, probably I will have some help from that experience, but not perfect, because it will be absolutely different.
So about Italian national team, your own country now, Julio Velasco is like the head coach right now. He's 72 years old, actually, which is like he's a very experienced coach with a great amount of respect. What do you think? How do you think it will affect the Italian national team this summer?
So actually, I don't know if Giulio is 71 or 72. But other than this, it doesn't make so much difference from this point of view. And on the other hand, you know, Giulio represents the history, the good history. a big part of the history of this sport, and in particular of the Italian volleyball, in particular in men's. But on the experience made by him with that group of players along the years, on the 90s, we can say that that is the base of our volleyball. Other than that period, Giulio showed in many other moments, ways, times, his qualities, and so I think that one more time he will have the possibility to give a good impulse to our movement, to our national movement, let's say, bringing his experience, bringing his knowledge, and I think that for him, I don't know, should be asked to him directly, but he got that many results and that many satisfaction and that many successes in this sport, in his career, in his life. Probably the only, there was only something missing about Olympics, and knowing that somebody at 71 or 72 still have the possibility to fight for that dream, it's something amazing for everybody, no? Give us a lot of hopes in the meaning of how our dreams can be followed until the end, let's say, even if now we speak like this because the Italian national teams have had like such incredible results, and we used to say that we're missing the gold medal at the Olympics, but from some other point of view we can say that is also stupid, because we should consider that we won the silver, not that we lost the gold. But the guy, he can still fight for this at 71, 72. So this also for myself as a professional is bringing some big amount of hope and possibility to look forward and to believe in what we believe even more, much stronger.
Where do you see yourself in 71 or 72?
First, I hope to be alive. And I don't know. It's really difficult to say, because there are two possibilities in my opinion. It's quite easy to say like this. One possibility is that I will be still here, trying to fight for that, trying to be at the top with fingernails and with my teeth. Because once you reach the top, is willing to stay there, the much important thing, and to keep being there and to playing for this competition and to fighting for these results. So hopefully still here. On the other hand, if one day my parabola, let's say, will change direction, so accepting the situation and probably trying to fulfill the rest of my life, let's say, on all the things that I keep aside a little bit in these years, where, as I said, I invested everything in trying to be the best professional as possible.
So no retirement?
Trying to become, maybe, but in case, try to fulfill my life from all the good things that at the end I have to put on the account.
It's great. So now that there is a new American league is founding right now. It will be active in 2025, and so since USA didn't have a professional league, the players that are raised in the USA was going to like different countries, to like Brazil, like South America, or Europe, or other countries. So how do you think a United States professional league will change the volleyball outlook globally?
This is difficult to say. Actually, it's more than one league, because they are
divisions, right? But
yeah.
It's a different system.
Yes, but so the general meaning is that, in my opinion, this could be for sure something good, because, as I said before, any exchange and any possibility to let's say, to make different experiences, it's something that can make everyone growing, and also volleyball growing, because imagine in a country like United States, that big, with that kind of attention for sports, if the spotlights will be put on volleyball even more than they are right now, how much it will join to the consideration that volleyball has overseas, let's say. And possibility for every professional to grow, to have different markets. For sure it will change a lot for our markets, the Europeans, Italy, Turkey, because we are used to have many of their best players in our leagues. And for sure this, so we will miss some of them, but it will be another opportunity to open to new markets, because all the other European countries, probably they will have the possibility to have players that come to these leagues, for example, the main leagues that we have, and growing even more. And so this can make all the other country level growing. Also, I have to say, in my opinion, is in particular for the presence of foreigner players, like many Americans, other countries' players in our league in Italy, in our league now in Turkey, that is not a casualty that our national team, they growed that much. Also because we have had the possibility to learn, to face, to grow, to teach with many foreigner players, representative of different styles, schools, top level players, and in particular many Americans. And so for sure I can see at the moment only very positive things, very positive opportunities for volleyball in general and for each professional, for other countries, possibility to grow. And then, of course, as always, it's matter of business, so we don't know how if this will become, will put good roots in the American tissue that, is full of different sports and something like this, but at the moment I can only see positive influences from this.
So coming back to Turkey and Sultanlar Ligi, who are the upcoming stars in your opinion in this league?
This is a question for Daniele, not for me. It's much a question for the coach of the Turkish national team, because from my side as a coach of one club is much. I don't want to name anybody in particular, because I don't want to miss respect to any player of the other clubs of my team in case, or so. This is kind of question that I don't have answer.
Okay. So now we'll move on to some short answer questions. I will ask a couple, like 4 or 5 short answer questions. If you're ready, I'm going to start asking them. So when was the last time you cried?
When was the last time I cried? Are short, but I can take time to answer, or I have to be quick?
You can take your time. It's okay.
Last time I cried, probably, I think New Year's period, in that days when I had the possibility to come back home. I think that I had one moment making many considerations about loved ones and something like this, that I cried a little bit.
What is your favorite sport after volleyball?
Let's say, to watch or to play?
To watch and to play.
Because to watch, honestly, so I don't watch many sports. I like more competitions. So in the Olympics period, every sport is good for me, whatever, or, whatever.
Like rowing?
Yes, then I live on the lake, so I was born on the lake, so sports connected with water they have a special part, let's say. For playing, I like to run, and so running in general, but not so much attention for races. And soccer, football, it's something that I really like to play when I was young, even if, as I said, I was really bad. But to watch is more about competitions. Each sport in big competition can be interesting for me.
What is your favorite football club in Italy? Are you a fan of one?
Yes, it's Milan, I see. But let's say in the last years, so I'm following not so much. My brother is a great fan, so sometimes I had some news or feelings about how things are going through him. I think if they will come inside here now, 20 players of Milan AC, I will recognize one or two, so I'm not that much into.
What is your favorite movie?
Oh. Difficult to say. Difficult to say. I can tell you the kind of movies that I like. First of all, there are movies that I watched every year, 2-3 times a year, but it's like old 90s movies.
Yeah, such as?
Action movies, something like this. Rambo, Rocky, things like this. But my favorite are mafia movies, some thrillers, something connected with criminality, police, and like seek and find, hunting, something like this, thrillers. But for sure, I don't like things that cannot happen. So I don't watch Avengers. I don't watch. I have a great memory for Star Wars. The first 3 movies, that ones, because they were like a milestone of the cinema. But in general, I don't like things that cannot happen in the real life.
Okay. So who do you listen to these days? Do you have like an artist that you like gets you going these days, or like
I
stop
listen.
listening to?
So it's like for food, music for me. I like many different artists. Many different artists. If I have to pick what I listen the most, is Italian pop songs, maybe something old, something sad. In these days, actually, there have been the Sanremo Festival, that is an yearly appointment in Italy, in our culture, super important. It just finished. I didn't follow so much, but the winner have been a girl, Angelina Mango, that is daughter of a singer that I was used to listen a lot. So in these last days, I'm listening to him again. Honestly, it's between quiet, sad songs and love songs. That kind of music that when I listen before the match, my staff in general makes fun and jokes, because they say, how can you prepare yourself for the matches with this kind of music instead of some heavy metal? But it's my style. I'm like this.
Yeah. It was a great conversation. Thank you for coming.
Thank you to you.
Yeah, and
it was a pleasure. I felt pretty happy to answer to your questions, and it's one more opportunity to meet your country, your culture, and to feel more involved in what I'm living in this moment.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon again. And çok teşekkür ediyoruz bizi izlediğiniz için değerli izleyiciler. Kurşun Pası burada noktalayacağız. Yeniden görüşmek üzere. Hoşça kalın.